Rushing Manhua. The story begins with Shin Yoo-jun, our protagonist, in his room. He is just an average 20-year-old guy who likes to play games, and currently he is enjoying a game that is becoming very popular. The name of this game is War of Gods. Shin seems to love this game. In front of the computer, he describes how much he likes this style of game. Everyone has had the experience of playing an online RPG at least once, right? When you create your first character and go to the square, everyone has seen it at least once. A character that stands out when compared to other characters. To get to the point, my character is this kind of top-level character. Then he says that in reality, he spent a lot of money on this in the last few years, and because of his addiction, among his friends, there were guys who even spat curses, and in his memory, you could see the treatment he received among his friends. "You're so pathetic, I can't even associate with you anymore. Stop before you regret it when you are older and study. Aren't you burning your money, you crazy bastard? It's a natural reaction. I understand," says the poor boy. But what could he do? A top-level warrior who spilled a huge amount of money, F2P gamer, that was his character within War of the Gods. Good looks, good performance, and that feeling of satisfaction I feel every time I play. When I see this excellent performance, I don't regret the money I spent, says the young boy. After all this introduction given by our protagonist, he holds his mouse again and says that if he were to name one problem in his lifestyle, it would be the number of players present in the game. War of Gods had an extremely low number of users. Even when the server first opened, there were not many users, but as the days passed by, the number of users only decreased. And there was F2P Gamer in the city center. A hand appeared and asked him why he arrived so late that day. Soon he ran close to 4 other players who were gathered there. One of them asked what was wrong, so the legend F2P Gamer ran around apologizing to them. He says he just woke up and puts his hand on his head sheepishly, saying he must have exaggerated a little the day before. A rabbit named Hot Pink Rabbit asks him if he ate, so Shin responds by saying that he was planning on ordering a delivery later, so the rabbit applauds him, saying that his pain rating is tier 1. Wow, the boy is really getting into the game. He cares about nothing anymore, but I can't say anything. RPG really sucks. You start and don't stop. Then Shin asks what they are all doing. The bunny says they are just talking, and asks if there is anything to do. Then another player called Hongdae Fashion Joseph, who is simply the first player logged in the history of War of Gods, had not noticed the presence of our protagonist. He waves his hand and says, "Ah, is the F2P player here? But didn't you say you were going to quit yesterday?" He always says this and never misses a day. It's not like he's pulling punches at work, but it's the dirty talking about the unwashed. Our protagonist counters his argument by saying, "This applies to you too. You said you're going to quit yesterday, but when will you quit?" And the friend with the gas mask answers him, "Yes, but now it's a waste to give up after investing so much time." Ha ha! Well, this game looks really fun. It's even making me want to dive into this game too. Then another player arrives called Extreme Role Player Joseon First Sword. He greets our boy saying, "Ah, are you here? Looking at the time. It looks like you arrived right after wake up." After that, my favorite player of this thing arrives, a cat called Only I Don't Have a Cat. He is a player that Shin can say is his closest friend. Especially when attacking or hunting in a group, their chemistry is great. That's why they are always together. Stamina buff, strength buff, intelligence buff. The cat can simply provide all this support to Shin, even though he doesn't ask for an intelligence buff. Only I Don't Have a Cat has masterful skill control. Then Joseph Fashion, who is not at all fashionable with this gas mask, asks what they should do. He says that if boredom strikes, they should do some homework from Raid Backlogged. But after he says that, the rabbit becomes extremely discouraged. Ah, Raid homework. I hate homework. That's why all users left. The difficulty is also ridiculously high. Then Shin says that it's not like there were many users to start. After all, this game has never been popular. Then they start arguing about the game's popularity. This game has been sucked from the first day the server opened. Management was also a confusion. The balance of the game was also weird. At first I thought, wow, is there a game like this? No, haha, so what are you still doing here without giving up? Admit that it is cognitive dissonance? That's why we do this. The more difficult, the greater the emotion when we perform it. That is true. If the game was easy, I would have left a long time ago. And well, changing the subject, the samurai asks our protagonist if the rumor that in real life he made money with Bitcoin or something similar was true. The boy raises his hands in the air, smiling big, and says yes. The rabbit is in disbelief and asks the samurai if he really didn't know, because they all already knew. Then the samurai responds by saying that he thought it was a lie, and that he didn't expect that there would be someone spending hundreds of millions on a bad game like War of the Gods. The samurai says that's why he keeps losing. So the bunny girl discourages the old man even more by telling him not to even think about beating the legendary F2P gamer in a PvP. She says his name is F2P, but his equipment is God level. Our protagonist is a total scammer. Our hero tells her not to say that, because his heart was still F2P. Face, where is your conscience? And here's some information for you non-game players who still don't understand what the hell F2P means. F2P means free to play. And analyzing our character, the funny guy doesn't have any of that, right? So he changes the subject by asking Koelha if what she said was really true. Would she really move to Bupyeong? However, she doesn't even have time to respond, as a system panel appears right above them saying that the game had an advertisement to inform them. Shin is impressed. A real-time warning out of nowhere? This never happened before. Dear users, pleased to meet you for the first time. I have a short announcement. War of the Gods was selected for a competition. It's all thanks to you. The masked head stops and says, "Wait, is it really the administrator?" And the system responds, "Yes. Is it correct?" Soon the Koelha gets scared and wonders if this would be the announcement of the server being shut down, and asks if it will continue to work. Then the system responds, "Hot pink rabbit, I'm sorry, but the server is scheduled to close soon." After the system says this, everyone is left without any reaction. The elderly samurai, still in shock, mutters, "This is absurd and totally unexpected." Joseon First Sword, in a fit of indignation, opposes the administrator's decision. "No, you can't end up like this. Even if that's the case, what about F2P Gamer?" Joseon First Sword, pointing at Yujun, argues, "He is someone who spent enough to buy several medium to large apartments in the heart of Seoul. Yujun's monumental investment in the game couldn't be lost like that." The system, impassive in the face of the pleas, responds, "You don't need to worry about that. Those who purchased paid content will receive a reward commensurate with their contribution." But well, the promise of financial compensation sounds empty and unsatisfactory in the face of the irreparable loss of the virtual world. Yujun, with a bitter expression, thinks, "This is revolting." The system, indifferent to the player's revolt, continues. "For the rest of the users who have enjoyed War of the Gods so far, we will also provide adequate compensation." Joseon First Sword, unsatisfied, questions the administrator. "Hey, administrator, by compensation, what kind of compensation are you talking about?" Hot Pink Rabbit, raising her fist in protest, exclaims, "What's the point of compensation when game duty is ending?" The system, ignoring the player's protests and anguish, coldly announces, "The server will be closed soon." The message that appears repeatedly crushes any hope of reversing the decision. Then, a countdown appears on the screen. "The server will shut down in 5 minutes. The tension increases every second. "The server will shut down in 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Hot Pink Rabbit, in a panic, exclaims, "Wow! It wasn't enough that the administration was terrible. Now they're suddenly shutting down the server." With her eyes spinning in despair, she asks, "Is this serious?" The cat, with wide eyes, asks, "Server shut down? This is a joke, right?" Then the panicked rabbit shouts at the cat, saying, "Cat, you just arrived after a long time. What do we do? They said the server will close soon." And well, in the real world, there was Yujun sitting in front of the computer. The silence and serious expression on his face reflect the gravity of the situation. The relentless countdown continues. "The server will shut down in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Yujun, accepting the inevitable reality, thinks, "There's no way. Every game has to shut down its servers someday. Everything has an end. There's no need to be too disappointed." So there was Yujun, or rather F2P Gamer, with his back turned, looking lost in the horizon. He silently says goodbye to his virtual home. "Even if the game in which I invested the most love in my life is closing its doors." Meanwhile, Yujun remembers the good times he had playing that game, frantic combats and incredible rewards after a dungeon. The world begins to fall apart as red pixels spread across the screen. "The server will shut down in 10 seconds. Hot Pink Rabbit, desperate, begs, "Oh no, stop being so cool. We need to protest or something now." Yujun watches the countdown with a serious and resigned expression. Then Yujun mutters, "Huh?" The screen dissolves into blue pixels. Our protagonist, now in a white and empty space, asks himself, "What is this?" Yujun, with his back turned, finds himself himself alone in a distorted digital landscape. The game's interface still identifies it as F2P Gamer, but something is different. Blue Fringe, now on his computer, thinks, "It seems like time is up, but the screen is frozen. Isn't it off?" Yujun still processing what happened while that bluish light reflects on his face. But who is that? The question, full of suspense, suggests the appearance of a new character. Inside the game, a female silhouette is revealed, surrounded by a bright blue aura. A woman? The female figure completely materializes, revealing a woman of ethereal beauty and silver hair. Her bright blue eyes and the celestial aura that surrounds her suggest a powerful, divine presence. After reading her name above her head, Yujun, still in the real world, thinks, "Nell? That name is familiar to me." Yujun, with his heart racing, asks himself, will he be an administrator? Could she be the entity behind the game system? Yujun frantically types on the keyboard, looking for answers, so our protagonist sends her a message. "Are you by any chance the administrator? What kind of situation is this?" Nell, with a kind smile and a welcoming look, introduces herself. "Hello, I wanted to personally express my gratitude to you, F2P Enjoyer, so I came to see you like this." The message, full of kindness and respect, surprises Yujun. Nell bows her head in reverence. Yujun, confused and surprised, thinks, "Express gratitude to me?" Nell, with a sincere tone, explains, "You generously supported this world I created without hesitation." Nell recognizes Yujun's big investment. Yujun, without understanding the reason for the gratitude, asks, "Support? Are you talking about how I recharged?" Nell confirms, "Yes, that's right." Yujun, in disbelief at the beautiful lady's gratitude, thinks, "Wow, that was payment, not a donation." Nell, with a beaming smile, explains, "No, anyway, thanks to you, F2P Enjoyer, my work managed to meet the minimum qualifications to participate in a contest." Yujun, still confused, replies, "Ah, really? But what contest are you talking about? I just looked online and I don't see any game contests coming up." Nell responds, "I can't reveal the details. However, regarding the help you gave me, F2P Gamer, I am considering it a reward. No, a special privilege." Yujun asks, "What's the point of a reward when the server is shutting down?" Our protagonist, back in the real world, types, "Well, okay, so what's this special privilege?" Nell responds, "Unfortunately, I can't tell you. I hope you enjoy the pleasure of receiving and directly discovering the special privilege." Nell, with a finger on her lips, whispers, "Let me just say one more thing. F2P Gamer, accept what happens from now on and don't try to be suspicious. This will be more useful for your survival." After that, the computer screen turns off by itself. What? Yujun reflects on meeting Nell. "I definitely made eye contact with that woman, right?" Our protagonist, still processing the surreal experience, wonders aloud, "It can't be. It can't be. How is this possible? But why did the monitor go out?" Then, out of nowhere, a message from the system appears in the air. "The change will begin now. Prepare for the imminent shock." Yujun, perplexed, watches the dialogue box floating in the air. Wait a minute, is that not the monitor, but a system window in midair? What is this? I'm scared! An invisible force pulls Yujun back, distorting his vision. Yujun, panicked, tries to hold on to something as he is sucked into the void. Hey, wait! Why did my head suddenly... Yujun falls backwards into a dark, empty space. His clothing has changed to a yellow tracksuit, and his expression is one of confusion and disorientation. Still stunned, the first thing our nerd thinks is, I still need to format my PC. A system message appears saying, "You have received a special privilege as a gift from Shin Yujun. You have obtained F2P Gamer's inventory. Inventory is being soul-bound and synchronized. Total time remaining until sync, 5 years, 8 days, 5 hours, 32 minutes. Then a final system message appears in the darkness. Now the game of War of the Gods will indeed begin. Yes, now poor Yujun will no longer need to worry about other people's opinions about what he does in real life, because after all, he doesn't even live in the real world anymore. Haha, in the end, it was worth it. It's a shame he spent all the money from his future on gambling, but no, don't try to copy him, kids. Leave it to the professional here and I'll do it." In a cosmic location, or rather in the Ortine Palace, where the lesser gods reside, is where we find ourselves. Located in a dimension separate from Earth known as the Divine Realm. Inside the palace, a group of people with different clothes and styles gather in a luxurious hall. The diversity of the characters is immense. In a simple and straightforward dialogue box, the message, "Announcement of competition," results on sight. And well, let's get to the results. First first place in War of the Gods, Nell. A random extra with a confused expression asks, War of the Gods? Who is Nell? Another character comments, I heard that many high-ranking gods participated this time, but it's surprising that a god whose name I've never heard of took first place. Nell, with a radiant face and hands clasped in front of her chest, exclaims, I'm so happy! If I win first place, I will receive many benefits. The game's interface reveals Nell's status, 7th class goddess, NFL. Nell, despite his victory, still occupies a relatively low position in the divine hierarchy. Nell, with a thoughtful look and flushed cheeks, wonders, he said he was a player. It's all thanks to you. Is his real name Shin Yu-jun? Moments before everyone gathered at the palace, there was Nell thinking about the criticisms made about her game. The War of the Gods, hastily prepared for the competition, was a failed game due to mismanagement. Nell, with his back turned, observes a holographic panel that displays some game data. In particular, due to the difficulty level, many gods are likely to fail in obtaining divine power. Nell laments, because there were no buyers for the premium items, the gods won't have good divine power. Look how small my divine power is. The game interface displays Nell's updated status, 10th class goddess Nell. Nell throws herself on the floor and laments, I can't make money or even participate in the contest. Nell, kneeling in front of the holographic panel, despairs. When I was so desperate, I'm screwed. And well, our hero doesn't wear a cape. He has blue hair and is completely rejected in real life. Suddenly, a message appears in the system. Shin Yu-jun has appeared. Nell, confused and surprised, asks, What? A series of system windows appear on the screen, showing a frantic sequence of purchases. Buy, sold out, purchased. Nell wonders, what just happened? A ray of hope has appeared. Yu-jun, in his F2P gamer avatar, appears in the center of the screen, equipped with red and gold armor, wielding a shining sword. The game interface displays the details of your equipment, all of which are rare and powerful items. Limited edition plus 9 strength shoulder armor, high-quality concentrated mana potion. Limited edition plus 9 flame-resistant outer clothing. Limited edition plus 9 boots of speed. Limited edition plus 9 dragon horn. And well, ironically, our hero's name was F2P Gamer, the guy responsible for buying almost everything in the game and saving this bankrupt game. As he purchased more than 1,000 limited edition items, the situation changed. Nell, eyes wide and mouth open, exclaims, It can't be! I never expected such a great player to appear in my game. Thanks to that, I managed to reach the contest standard and win first place. Meanwhile, F2P Gamer faced a gigantic monster with extreme ease. Nell, watching Yu-jun's battle, thinks, Shin Yu-jun? He's done it all by himself so far? With a finger on the screen, she accesses Yu-jun's information on a holographic panel. Curiosity leads her to uncover the past of the player who helped her. Then she comments, let's see, Korean, male, single. He's not from a rich family and he's an orphan. The holographic panel displays more detailed information about Yu-jun. Father, deceased. Mother, deceased. Made a big profit from virtual currency. Nell, with a surprised look, concludes, he recently became rich because the virtual currency he bought a long time ago soared. I'm so lucky. It will be good for me and him. Nell, in her heavenly palace, raises her hand toward the system. With a thoughtful look, he recalls the situation. And to think that I ended up in first place in the competition that I thought would be a miserable failure. I definitely have to return that favor, Shin Yu-jun. Nell, with a mischievous look, declares, Right, Shin Yu-jun. You will remain my lucky charm in the future. First, you can use the special rewards I gave you to survive, especially now when the Earth is undergoing a great upheaval. This foreshadows difficult and dangerous times for the real world. With this, you can become the strongest person. Yu-jun, lying on his back in the grass, slowly opens his eyes. Ugh, the sunlight! Yu-jun slowly gets up, still dazed. The surrounding forest is dense and full of life, very different from the digital world he is used to. Yu-jun, sitting on the grass, looks around and asks himself, where am I? A forest? Wasn't I in my room a minute ago? And what are those ruins? I look like I've seen them before. Huh? Surprised, Yu-jun exclaims, It can't be. Is it the tutorial forest? A system window appears on the screen, confirming the location. Location information. Tutorial forest. Yu-jun, completely shocked, shouts, Aye, it's a pop-up. It's the status window. The status window, now as a physical object, materializes the game interface in the real world. Suddenly, a series of system messages appear. Sync completed. Inventory completely transferred. Receiving second privilege. Dash composture successfully received. Check status window. Yu-jun, perplexed, thinks, wait, isn't this a God's game status window or something? Yu-jun, pressing his cheeks tightly, says, come to think of it, that was also the last thing I saw when I passed out. It hurts, so it's not a dream. A new system message appears highlighted. You acquired the calm posture trait. It seems that being able to see this situation calmly is thanks to the trait called composure. Yujun, with his hand on his forehead, thinks, is this the privilege the game operator mentioned? Ha, it's driving me crazy. I can't believe the game became reality. Yujun, observing the system, says, so this is the default status. The status window displays Yujun's information. Player, Shin Yujun. Level, 1, special privileges, composures. Skill, none. Title, legendary items, collector, legendary. Effects of equipped items increase by 15%. Attributes, strength 5, agility 5, endurance 5, mana 5, points not distributed 0. Then he says, I've seen about composure, but what is the title, legendary item collector? I have a legendary title, but I'm level 1. Yujun, focusing on the title description, legendary item collector, thinks, what? So this is the title my character got? The poor boy, remembering his journey in the game, thinks, this title appears after I collect all kinds of items, right? Then he stops and exclaims, wait, so what? Inventory! Yujun opens his virtual inventory. Several holographic windows appear around you, displaying a multitude of items and equipment. Yujun, observing the immensity of his inventory, exclaims, this is crazy! I expanded my inventory to maximum capacity through payment, so there should still be weapons and equipment that I used until recently, right? Yes, his entire powerful and vast ancient inventory was at his disposal again. Wow, so it was really worth spending all my savings on gambling. I'm going to do the same. Yujun, examining the slots in his inventory, notices something strange. So wait, they all say level 300 restriction. Yujun, disappointed, says, the restriction is the same as the game. Well, it's obvious. Then he thinks, did the game really come true? Or did I join the game? Levels, skills, and many titles seem to have been reset. It seems that only my inventory has remained the same. Then Nell suddenly appears and advises Yujun, on second thought, don't try to doubt. I'll make sure you survive. Yujun, recalling Nell's words, thinks, that's what the operator said. What is happening? Then a system window appears on the screen with a message. System, please select the difficulty level for the tutorial before starting. Beginner, intermediate, skilled, master, hell. Yujun carefully observes the message on the system window, and then, recalling his several hours of gameplay, he thinks, War of the Gods had a tutorial mode and difficulty setting. As I am completely dedicated to this game, I faced several difficulties with many accounts. However, control alone was limited to skilled difficulty. In particular, the most difficult section is the Wolf's Lair dungeon. I managed to deal with it, although I had to try many times, but the problem is the hell difficulty. Even with his overwhelming control ability, we had a hard time defeating it. However, considering that the rewards vary for each difficulty level, the rewards of hell difficulty exceed imagination. An explosion of golden light fills the screen, revealing a mountain of golden coins, magical potions, legendary weapons, and ancient scrolls. The abundance and brilliance of the treasures demonstrate the magnitude of the rewards of the hell level. So he calculates the situation and says, the problem is that the forest in this tutorial only has a chance to be challenged once per account. Yujun, with his hand on his neck in nervousness, thinks, it's even more serious because real life is at stake this time. It's such a big risk. Whether it's just reality or a game, you can't just rewind your life. Then Yujun starts to prepare. First, let's organize the list of armor equipment in the inventory. I need something I can use right away. Shortly after this, our protagonist is extremely surprised by an item. Yujun, eyes wide, looks at the available items in his inventory. What? I'm level 1 now, but are there items that can be equipped? Wait, that and that! So that's what the goddess was talking about, right? Yujun, with a satisfied smile, exclaims, the Super Beginner Set! A series of system windows displays the items in the set. Super Beginner's Sword. Restriction. LV 5 or lower. Grade, Legendary. Attack Power 512. Additional Property, Unbreakable. Super Beginner's Full Armor. Restriction. NV 5 or lower. Rank, Legendary. Defense 450. Additional Property, Unbreakable. Super Beginner's Glove. Restriction. NV 5 or lower. Grade, Legendary. Defense 100. Additional Property, Unbreakable. Strength +10. Super Beginner's Shoes. Restriction. restriction LV 5 or lower, grade legendary, defense 110, additional property unbreakable, agility plus 10. Yujun, impressed by the set's attributes, exclaims, "The effect of this set is incredible." The system window displays the effects of the set. 2-piece set, 50% critical hit chance when attacking. 4-piece set, increases attack power and defense by 200 each. Yujun, recalling his strategies in the game, thinks the Super Starter set will be the key to the Hell difficulty. I can't buy it, and even after the tutorials I can't use it because of the restriction. I don't know if I'll ever use it again. The Super Beginner's sword glows brightly, materializing in his hand. And holding the sword, the proud Yujun thinks, "Actually, I finished this game with this account. All right, with this, I'm sure I can complete the Hell difficulty." The system window appears again, announcing the start of the adventure. "The Inferno difficulty tutorial will now begin. Please select your weapon." The system window displays icons representing different weapons: sword, axe, spear, bow, and a mace. Yujun, recalling the game's mechanics, thinks, sword, axe, spear, bow, mace. This one is a blunt weapon. Come to think of it, there was a section for choosing beginner weapons. But since the bastard is hacking already with the super beginner sword, he says, "However, I don't think I need another weapon now, right?" Then with his meticulous organization, Yujun says, "I don't want to have useless items in my inventory now, since it becomes troublesome later when you try to clean it up." However, suddenly, a new message appears in the system window. "No weapons selected." The message indicates that Yujun did not choose a weapon for the tutorial. Another system message appears below. "The rewards for completing the Inferno difficulty tutorial will increase considerably." Yujun, surprised by the previous message, asks, "Can the rewards be increased? I didn't know about that." Our hero, with a confident smile, asks himself, "Is it luck?" Yujun, equipped with his full armor and legendary sword, walks confidently towards the dense forest. A system window appears prominently, announcing the start of the challenge. The tutorial has started. That's all, guys. Leave a like and subscribe to follow the next videos. If you want to continue this work or there is another one that you want to become a video, comment below. Bye.